What's going on, boxing heads? And I'm back with another video. So let's talk about this whole Juneteenth PBC thing. It's awesome for boxing, but I know there's a lot of people out there stirring up the pot, creating drama. I heard some boxing bloggers talking about the Juneteenth is the new Cinco de Mayo. Okay, number one, number one, you never hear Mexican people running around saying Cinco de Mayo is the new Oktoberfest, right? Like, what's the point of even doing that type of comparison? It's silly and it's childish. It should be good for all boxing fans, no matter what it is. All right, black, white, Mexican, Puerto Rican brothers, Canada, United States, United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia, all the big places that people love boxing in. You don't need to compare two people's holidays. Most importantly, when you do that, you consistently put yourself in last place. What you're basically saying is you're always comparing yourself to somebody else. How did hip hop get big? Did they say this is going to be the new rock and roll? This is going to be the new country music? This is going to be the new jazz? No, it just was hip hop. It was black and Puerto Rican people in the Bronx. They came up with something. They made self expression and went worldwide. Now it's a damn rapper in every country in the world. Everybody wants to be a rapper. They didn't say I'm going to be the new this or the new that. They just did it. Most importantly, I want everybody to understand the history of Juneteenth. Juneteenth has been celebrated in Texas for over 100 years. It was passed by the Texas state legislature over 50 years ago. People in Texas have been celebrating Juneteenth forever. That's why they do everything big in Texas. Most importantly, the people who are making the hoopla about it didn't even know what Juneteenth was 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Where is these people at when Barack Obama was in office? 2013, 2014, 2015. Where the Juneteenth videos at? Most people only do this because the mainstream media tells them to. People are manipulated, or they try to manipulate other people, and then they tell you something's supposed to be important, and then now it's supposed to be important to everybody. Is it important? Yes. Juneteenth has always been awesome, always been important. For people who live in Texas, they know that. They didn't need the rest of the country to celebrate it. They just been doing it. Now everybody else is telling you around the rest of the country who didn't even know about it 3 years ago that it's supposed to be important to all black people and everybody. And if it is important to you, that's awesome. That is excellent. But at some point, we got to stop taking stuff out of context. What Al Haymon is doing is absolutely amazing. And him having a Juneteenth card in Texas, where the holiday originated at, is even more amazing. And if you want to support it, that's awesome. That's great for boxing. But this nitpicking at different cultures and always trying to compare and contrast is stupid. This boxer ain't going to make as much as the next boxer. This boxer may not sell as much as the next boxer. Boxing is a niche sport. That's what makes it awesome. That's what makes the United States awesome. You have the casual boxing fans. You have the boxing fans like me and you that are hardcore. We watch every card. And then you have some that are in the middle and they only watch certain cards that are on certain networks. The point is, we have got to stop nitpicking and pocket watching and stop trying to always say, go for the mainstream trending crap. There was Jazz Fest. There was the Expo in Indiana. New Orleans, Cincinnati, and they had jazz festivals for years. I mean, into the 90s, in the early 2000s, before all this gentrification went on, and black people from all over the country would come to these cities. It would be vendors, and people would make money. It'd be black people who would just do vending at all the different jazz festivals all summer, and they'd be able to pay the mortgage, and it was money spent amongst each other. And nobody cared about the mainstream. Nobody cared about ABC, CBS, NBC, Joe Biden, people stirring them up about who should care about it. We just did it. We celebrated our culture. We loved it, and we moved on. So if anybody who wants to celebrate Juneteenth, awesome. I'm glad you want to be a part of it. I'm glad you're learning about it. But at the same time, don't force the narrative. Don't try and make other people and other cultures feel a certain way by trying to compare your holiday to theirs. Celebrate your damn holiday. Embrace your culture and stop worrying about other people. That's how it becomes a big deal. You know how many friends I got? I mean, homies from college, crazy white boys. They be like, hey, come to me to St. Patty's Day at this bar. And I'd be like, man, I ain't fooling with y'all, but I'd go. I didn't know what St. Patrick's Day was, but I go because it's the United States of America, and you're going to have all type of friends. And I went and I had a good time, and I moved the hell on. It's holidays that's important to all people, all around the world, all year. You don't need to compare and contrast it. And I'm going to say it again for the 400th time. The people who are out here selling this narrative about Juneteenth, didn't even know what the hell it was 4 or 5 years ago. Now they trying to act like Mr. Pro Black or Mrs. Pro Black. Come on, man. If you really was about it, you'd have been known what it was and you'd have been celebrating it like the black people have been celebrating in Texas for years. Shout out to everybody who's a boxing head. I don't care what race, ethnicity you come from. Shout out to Al Haymon for the Juneteenth card. Don't let people take stuff out of context and spin the narrative. Peace.